outside last night and it was a beautiful, clear summer's evening. And just looking up at the sky, I saw thousands and thousands of stars, too many to count. And as a little boy, I used to look up at the sky and wonder where everything came from. You know, the Holy Bible says it's by the word of the Lord that the heavens were made, and all of the starry hosts, well, they were created by the breath of his mouth. Have you ever wondered where all of this came from? Well, the Holy Bible tells us that it came from God's voice, that God spoke creation into being. The Bible also teaches that you and me, we're kind of created in God's image. Now, I'm not saying that we have the ability to speak and create things with our voice, like materialize things out of nothing. But we do have the ability with our words to build people up. We do have the ability with our voice to create within people that feeling of encouragement, that feeling of inspiration. You know, with our words, we can choose either to build people up or we can choose to tear people down. In fact, the Holy Bible says that life and death are in the power of the tongue. And we have to be incredibly careful with the words that we use. I can remember as a young boy, one thing that I used to dread year after year was sports day. And the reason I dreaded sports day so much was because I wasn't very good at sport. In fact, I was always picked for the running race, and I was always last. But even though I was last, all the way around the field, I could hear my mum in the distance shouting out, "Come on, Paul, you can do it." And her words of encouragement prevented me from stopping. They carried me through the race to the finishing line. And even afterwards, when I was so downhearted and discouraged, my mum would come over to me and she would say to me, "Hey, listen, you were the best out there. You ran harder than anybody else out there." And she would just give me these words of support and these words of encouragement. I want to ask you today, are you an encourager? Do you inspire people with your words? Do you build them up or do you tear them down? How do you speak to yourself? How do you communicate? You know, we all talk to ourselves, don't we? We don't always like to admit it, but we do. And I want to ask you today, how do you communicate with yourself? Do you build yourself up or do you tear and run yourself down? Often when there's nobody else around, the only person that's left to encourage us is ourselves. So I just want to encourage you today. Build yourself up. Say good things to yourself. And other people, build them up. You know, with the word of God, God created and made this universe with many worlds. And with your words, you can make somebody's day. Why don't you make somebody's day today? Why don't you make your day today?